Playing Destiny 2 on my phone is one of the most convoluted setups I have ever put together. For context, I'm playing through my Xbox and not on Stadia. Stadia doesn't really work up here in Alaska because of the distance signals have to travel and how much input latency there is with Stadia servers. Now bear with me as I detail how I went about accomplishing this and discussing my experiences. First thing is that I'm running the game through my Xbox One, and I have that routed through an Gato capture card on my computer. That's how I'm able to capture and record the higher definition background gameplay. Then on my phone, I downloaded the Xbox app, and with a little bit of setup, I can play on Xbox through the app as long as the phone and Xbox are on the same network. Now, the glorious thing about modern console controllers is that they can connect to phones by Bluetooth. A friend of mine plays mobile PUBG on his phone with his PlayStation 4 controller hooked up to it, and he claims to win a lot of matches because of that. So that's what I've done, is wirelessly connected my Xbox controller to my phone and used its input to control everything. Then to actually get the recording of the phone in action, I propped up a tablet on a stool on the kitchen table and hit record. Right off the bat, one of the first issues I had is that the screen is really small and I had difficulty seeing enemies at a distance, reading the radar, and generally keeping track of my abilities. The next biggest issue is latency. It was around half a second to a full second of pressing the button on the controller, and then the corresponding action would occur in the game. This made it difficult to control the recoil of weapons, and enemies that are really good at utilizing their movement are very hard to hit. Another issue that popped up as a consequence of recording a phone screen with a tablet is the brightness. When I was testing this earlier with the brightness turned up on my phone, it was easy to see in the darker areas of the map. But when I recorded the phone with the tablet, the brightness made the colors go blurry and washed out. So to fix this issue, I turned the brightness on my phone down, but consequently I have a hard time seeing clearly in dark areas. So that's why there's more than a few instances in this video where I'm blindly running into a wall trying to find a doorway. Now, a lot of this technology is still in its infancy. Every time I boot up the Xbox application on my phone and tell it to stream from my Xbox, it pops up with a message that essentially says, hey, this is a work in progress and you're likely to have issues. But I gotta give credit where credit is due. When Google launched Stadia, it really lit a fire into the asses of the other console manufacturers to get mobile integration up and running. Before Stadia, the only thing the Xbox app was really useful for was the chat function when your headset broke, and using it as a remote for when you're streaming Netflix through the Xbox. Ultimately, I think this is going to become a larger part of the console experience, with mobile phones becoming more prevalent and more advanced. In a way, it's sort of like how 3D films evolved. Back when you had to wear red and blue plastic glasses, it was kind of a gimmick, but nowadays many blockbuster films are taking advantage of active shutter technology and are filming with 3D in mind in order to make the 3D experience better. So right now, yeah, it's a little bit of a fun gimmick, but don't be surprised in 10 years when you look back at the video and marvel at how far the technology has come. Also, my tablet stopped recording at around 7 minutes in. I did fairly mediocre, but at least I didn't come in last place on my team. But thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments below if I should do a video like this again, but instead go through a nightfall.
Zone B lost. Enemy has zone advantage. Minutes remaining. Double down. Fire team that fights together stays together. You have advantage. Zone C lost. They have advantage. Your enemy has a power play. Zone C captured.